Hey guys, I'm Dr. Kelsey at Kelsey Canine Medical Center, and we are out here today with Bryan Bailey at his facility at Taming the Wild, and over here on Whitten Road in Memphis. And we thought we'd come out here. We partner with Bryan for, gosh, now probably 8 years now.
Probably 8 years at least.
A long while. Yeah. And he has definitely helped a lot of our clients' dogs out, a lot of times for behavioral issues. But also for just general training, and whether that's puppy training or doing some training for the adult dogs. And you've helped out an innumerable number of our clients and patients. So we thought it'd be fun to come out here and see your facility, which is beautiful, by the way. We're going to post some video or post some pictures of his facility in our Facebook. So today I thought we'll have a couple questions. It's January. A lot of people have purchased maybe new puppies or adopted new puppies or even adult dogs. But let's talk about the puppy for a second. What kind of things, programs do you offer here for puppies and new clients with new little puppies?
We offer really anything from what we call puppy preparatory, which is private lessons with the owner. Okay. A lot of owners the puppies are either too young to do a board and train program, or the owners just want to have a little bit more hands-on. But we have what's called puppy preparatory. And it's really important because puppies are dogs. And again, it's hard for a lot of people to realize that. They think they just inherited or just bought a little person in a fur coat. But we've just welcomed a whole different species into our household. And they have to learn how to interact with human beings. And things learned at this age, good and bad, they're never forgotten. Mm-hmm. So it's really important that you get started right. So we offer a puppy preparatory school, which is private lessons, and then we have a 5-day board and train program known as our puppy imprinting program, where we'll take the puppy will stay with us. Okay. We'll do this imprinting with it, teaching them the human language. In other words, they operate off of signals. So again, what does the word sit mean when they're a young little puppy? I might as well be saying scoobernog, because they don't understand what that is. So we teach them the language and do a little bit of housebreaking and a few little behaviors like don't jump on me. Start young, really, really, really young. So that's what we offer for puppies.
What age do you start seeing or recommend seeing them?
If we're doing
for something like that, for that fun.
Yes, if we're doing private lessons with the puppies, then we really can take them almost at any age, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, but we prefer them to be at least about 10 weeks and have had at least 2 series of their shots, 2 rounds of vaccination. Right. That's a safety issue.
Sure.
And for the board and train program, they have to be at least 12 weeks old to come in for our board and train programs.
So probably 3 series.
Yes, 3 weeks. You know how that goes. Some of them have 2 by then, some have 3. The more, the better.
Okay, so 12 weeks. Okay. I'm going to ask you one question about, I've seen over the years, like, it seems to me that when a client purchases a puppy, let's say from a breeder, too young, as opposed to a little later, do you have a recommendation, like, when an owner ought to purchase a puppy and take that from the litter?
Oh, absolutely. And that's just not my personal opinion or professional opinion, based upon 4 decades of working with puppies. But it's also science-based. It's about the development of the brain. We have found that puppies taken before 8 weeks, in other words, a perfect window is about 8 to 10 weeks. Mm-hmm. Puppies taken about 6 weeks have shown that there's a higher rate of those that will develop a strong social awareness, in other words, a strong bond with humans, because they're imprinted to humans. Mm. Puppies taken after 12 weeks have shown a strong indication to develop a social awareness to dogs, because they've been imprinted with dogs during that crucial period of about 8 to 10 weeks. So it's absolutely vital that if you can, do everything possible to take your puppy between that 2-week period.
Okay, that's great. That's great to hear. I've read multiple places, and just personally, it seems like over 19, 20 years almost of doing this, that if they get them I've always said like 8 or 9 weeks old, or at least 8 weeks and older, not the really young. But it seems like the ones that are taken really young just have more issues.
They do. They absolutely do, especially when it comes to developing any sort of social abilities with dogs. Mm-hmm. They really do. They've done studies. They've raised puppies with cats, and they did not recognize a dog at 13 weeks of age.
Wow.
Welcome to imprinting.
Yeah.
It's really powerful, really important.
So you'll have that 5-day where you have to come, you can come to the house and do the training, and I've recommended that for, as well. And then you have the 5-day. Let's graduate up from there. What does it look like as they get a little bit older?
Once they get a little bit older, when we say a little bit older here, it's typically about 4 months of age and older.
Okay.
Now their brains, everything develops at an appropriate time for these young mammals. And I always have to remind people, they are slow maturing mammals. We Americans tend to be really impatient. We want everything now. We want Amazon Prime to be overnight, not 2 days. We want it all right now.
Right.
Slow down. So us, an appropriate age to now move beyond puppy imprinting is typically about 4 to 5 months of age.
Okay.
And what that looks like is just more formal training. With puppy imprinting, it's about developing the ability to understand humans and human reactions and human gestures and human voice. But the more formal training resembles more of, hey, I love you to death, dog, but you have to do it. So in other words, we start to step up a little bit less treat work, a little bit more, hey, when I do call you, I do want you to come. Whereas puppies, they have a little bit more options at that point. So yeah, it's just a little bit more formal. Now we're moving faster. We're developing reliable stays. We're developing dogs who can come to us when we call them. We're moving at a faster pace, just like a child. Now I would call it a 4-month-old dog is ready for 2nd grade. And we start to go from there.
Okay. And you do that either, I think we were talking earlier about, is it a 2-week or that's the 1 week?
We have several programs.
Several options.
Once they are at 4 months of age, then we have a board and train. Private lessons are always available.
Okay.
Private lessons are always available really for any given age, whether it be a young puppy or a 9-year-old, 10-year-old dog, always available. But as far as a board and train program goes, we have several options for that. We have a 7-day, what we title it the essentials. Teach a dog to walk with someone and not pull them, stay on one side of their body, and place. And place is a super long, super powerful stay, where we teach the animal to get on a cot and they don't leave it, period. So it's wonderful. People come to your house and they go, dang, that's a nice dog you have over there. And that over there is like in all caps. So we have that, that's the essentials. Then we have our flagship program. That's been our flagship for years and years. And it's a 2-week board and train, and it's known as Phase 1, where all the essentials are trained. Everything from walk next to me, don't pull me, don't jump on me, don't jump on my guest, lay down, stay, place, don't pull me through a door, going in and out of doors. In other words, all the basic fundamental behaviors that would cause you to enjoy your dog. And I always tell people, the last time I looked, the dog landed in my want category. And therefore, it's supposed to lower my blood pressure, not raise it.
Right.
So that's that program. Then we have a 10-day come when called off-leash program. And then finally, once your dog is over a year of age, meaning we're going to wait for it to grow up some, it can come back for a 1-month Phase 2 program. Phase 2 is all the behaviors I mentioned in Phase 1, off-leash. No leash required unless you're just obeying some leash law. Your dog will walk without a leash, come to you without a leash, do everything that you ask it to do.
Right.
You don't have to be tethered to your dog.
Right.
So it's a really super program, but we do require them, as you can imagine. That's a lot for a dog to learn.
Sure.
So we want to be old enough and have that brain developed enough to be able to learn that.
Right. Well, I've had quite a few clients that have done at least Phase 1, I know. I can't remember a Phase 2, but I'm sure they have been. But I remember one of our clients coming back and their Labrador, 5-month-old puppy was sitting in a hula hoop. It was great. And the clients loved it. The owners loved it. It was, you got these jumping labs that are all over you. And just, I always tell clients that, and I think it's important that, if you invest that money and the time when they're young, you've got the next 12 years to enjoy instead of not enjoying it fully and it being sometimes a hassle to, for a dog to have that puppy.
It is, and a lot of people, of course, they look at a price up front, they go, wow, that's expensive. But of course, when you calculate it out over the average lifespan of a dog, it's really not that expensive. And then how expensive or what cost can you place on your happiness, your dog's happiness? I cannot tell you how many clients that don't have that.
Right.
Why? Because they won't go for a walk with their dog, yet that's the reason they They got a dog.
Right.
They wanted a jogging partner, someone to go with them on walks. But because the dog is pulling them everywhere, trying to go after other people that are passing by with their dogs and so forth, they just abandoned it.
Mm-hmm.
So now you look at the quality of life for both the human and the dog. Training, good training, increases not only quality of life for the dog and the owner, but also it mitigates risk.
Right.
So if you do have a dog a little reactive, well, now I can control it.
Right.
And that's incredible. And we have to keep in our minds, we're so busy trying to rescue dogs nowadays and save dogs from shelters and develop no-kill shelters. Well, what we have to understand is the number one reason by far, the number one reason why a dog is even there is because of behavior.
Right. Right.
Behavior. So guys, if you want to save dogs, train them. Get them under control.
That's a good point. Real good point.